The men of 3RAR's mentoring team Delta push out on a mounted patrol through the Trora Valley.
Yeah, so today we're heading out to a remote patrol base. Basically heading out there because we've got some forces there. They need a bit of a resupply, so we're going to go give them some sachet coffee, a generator, and give them a high five. Yeah, Roger.
Just 5 minutes from base, we stop for a bomb search.
Let's go check to see if he's got ID.
The men spot a man carrying a Kalashnikov. The man has identification and he's let go. Afghans are allowed to carry weapons, which makes telling the difference between friend and foe extremely difficult. A short time later, we come across a bombed-out car.
The car up ahead earlier this year, an IED striked it, and there was 9 people in it, and apparently 6 got killed because the vehicle was hit there. They were making sure that there's no other IEDs being laid there.
After a bone-rattling journey across a lunar Afghan landscape, we arrive at patrol base Ismail in the Kamisan Valley. The diggers based out here for 10 days make their camp outside the local A&A base. The Afghan commander speaks highly of his foreign neighbours.
اول با کمک خداوند بزرگ بعداً با کمک شما دوستا این توانایی را پیدا کردیم.
The Aussies have always camped outside for space reasons, but since the rise of the insider threat, they've kept their distance. When they do meet, there's always an Australian guardian angel watching. In 2007, NATO-led forces suffered 2 insider attack deaths. Since then, the threat has grown. This year, 57 people have been killed. 3 of them were Australian. Private Robert Pote, Lance Corporal Stepan Milosevic and Sapper James Martin were farewelled in a traditional ramp ceremony. On August 29, they were gunned down by Afghan Army Sergeant Hekmatullah at Patrol Base Wahab. The shooter managed to flee.
As for his motivation, look, I'm pretty keen to have a chat to him and determine that. And if he shows his face again, we'll do that. We'll have a chat.
The army freely admits the attacks have impacted on their relationship with the Afghans.
With an incident like that, to suspect that there wouldn't be any change, again, you wouldn't. That's not human nature. So there has been a change in the dynamics at the local level.
The Aussies now keep their distance, but the army insists it's not withdrawing from forward bases in the valleys to protect the soldiers.
I mean, that green on blue incident on 29th of August, nothing to do with the transition or their development. We're not pulling off them because of insider threat or an insurgent threat or any of that. We're pulling off them because they're well on track to be independent.
Even a simple 2-hour visit to the A&A compound at the Australians' biggest base, Tarin Kowt, requires Guardian Angel escorts. All of this so a couple of Australian monitors can sit in on a class. On this day, the Afghans are teaching fellow Afghans.
The mission at the moment is everything must be Afghan-led, and that's what we're really trying to encourage here. And fundamentally as well, not only Afghan-led, but Afghan-sustainable.
These A&A soldiers are learning how to gather forensic evidence, handle detainees and interview them. Importantly, they're learning how to hand it all over to local prosecutors.
It's certainly not something that's going to be achieved overnight, but even in the time of our rotation here in Afghanistan, we've certainly seen improvement.
The intelligence officer teaching the class had previously been trained by the Australians. His Australian mentor gives him the thumbs up.
It was good, it was really good. He seemed a little bit nervous to start with, but as the lesson went on, he was very confident, quite animated, happy to get in there and use the tools and engaging with the audience as well. There's a lot of questions, and through the interpreter I understand are very pertinent questions, and he had answers to them.
The commander of 3RAR is confident of the Afghans' progress. The real test will come when most Australian forces leave in 2014.
I think the security forces will stay. I think they'll be fine. They'll never be at a standard of a Western military force, but they'll be sufficient to contain the insurgency and promote the ongoing development and governance aspects.
But he concedes life won't be the same without the Australians on their patch.
Their capability, when we reduce to a much less footprint, will obviously reduce.
And it pays to watch where you make your footprints in a country littered with landmines and IEDs. These Afghan engineers are having their skills tested.
They always say how happy they are to have us here to do it, but now that we're starting to show them that they've got their own people that know just as much as we do, and are confident enough to deliver that sort of training, I think they're just as happy to see their own guys do it rather than us. But I don't really know what they think about us leaving. It's a sort of a subject that's not really brought up.
That's a question I asked the man being trained to dig out bombs. Searching for hidden explosives is perilous work. The army says they've got the know-how, but do they have the stomach?
From what I've seen over the last few months, definitely they'll be able to do it themselves, yeah.
However, one digger told me that the Australians are still often doing the dangerous searching on behalf of the Afghans.
They don't have enough search people to be everywhere at every time, and they're developing that capability. In each of the battalions, there will be, by the middle of November, over 30 search qualified people in each battalion. But that's a scarce resource, and they're spread all across the province. In our 5.5 months here already, they have disposed of more IEDs than we have between the army and the police.
Forward operating base Mirrorwise in the Chora Valley. It's a joint base divided by this huge, recently constructed wall. Between the Australians on one side and the Afghans on the other is a single locked door.
تا که تدابیر امنیتی از جا درست باشه، اما تو درزی نیست که همکاری ما را یا قطع بسازن. همکاری ما به شکل سابق دوام داره. تمام پلان‌های ما که بر سابق بود فعلا هم به شکل ادامه داره. این تنها به خاطر تدابیر امنیتی بود، کدام گپی نیست.
The wall separates 175 ANA troops from the Australians. The Lieutenant Colonel shows me around his side. Again, a guardian angel watches our every move.
We've been untouched so far within Chora Blue Shield with this Kandak was green on blue. All I can say is it's just a heightened alertness. You can't rule it out 100%. However, our troops still carry on with the ANA and our relationship is still good. They have lost soldiers too in the insider attacks. That's what I think a lot of people fail to understand. It's not just Australian troops that have been killed. It's been, ANA, Afghan National Army troops have also been killed in these attacks. They feel it as much as us. We also pass our condolences on to them for their soldiers that they've lost.
Army medic Matthew Friswell is training 2 Afghan medics to be teachers themselves. But it's not without its hiccups. Someone missed the message and a whole class shows up for a lesson.
Hey boss, it's Frizzy. Yeah, I've got a bit of a problem here. We've had the whole course roll up and I only need the core medics. Yeah, because this training isn't designed for them. Yeah, cheers. See ya. Yeah, just get all the guys to come outside and I'll have a chat to them outside. Hey buddy, how you going?
Problem solved. The 2 that stayed are given a lesson in treating patients on the battlefield.
Contact!
Contact!
It's a hands-on lesson. The Australians lead by example.
Okay, you can't breathe in for you enough for you to hear anything on either side.
Now it's the Afghans' turn.
Close!
Move in. Oh, gunshot to the left leg.
The left leg, yeah. Okay.
Back inside, the A&A medics learn how to puncture a chest to release built-up gases.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, spot on.
خوب است درس امروز بگم رقم پیش برات ما اینجا مثلا موشه بچه‌ای که اینجا در کورسایی معرفیش یک چیز یاد بگیرم.
So that's it for today. Thanks for coming down, mate. Well done, my man.
The Afghan National Army 2nd Kandak, based here in the Chora Valley, will soon be on its own. After years of learning from and fighting alongside their Australian mentors, the Australian flag here at Forward Operating Base Mirrorwise will soon be pulled down, and the diggers will pull back to their main base in Taran Kowt. When that happens, the A&A will be declared operationally independent, and the security for the Chora Valley behind me will be the Afghans' responsibility.
And what we're really doing is putting the icing on the cake. And in the 4 years they've come from the raising the 4 brigade to now has been exponential. And their real ability to influence the security space within Chora Baluchi is to be reckoned with. And they've come a long way and they're ready to be handed over to.
Shouldering some of that responsibility is First Lieutenant Mohammed Sawab. He's a patrol commander charged with leading his troops out into the field.
Yeah. Small commander.
He's come over to the Australian side of the base to meet with his Aussie counterpart. The men seem to enjoy each other's company.
Thanks, man. We'll tidy this up.
If they haven't already swapped email addresses, they should do so soon.
See you tomorrow, man. Mate? Yeah, no worries. See you, mate.
Because while the Prime Minister says the door has been left open for Special Forces to stay on past 2014, another is closing on the current mission.